Yo, Magico. Yep, I did my first video. How it went, poorly, not because of any other reason, but my production quality is so bad at the moment to the point where I've actually tried using my laptop now instead of my mobile phone. Can do it indoors this time rather than my garage. But I am going to try and do something a little bit different today because, everything's usually so positive in the VEVE community. Everything is so kind of excitable and always looking for the next sort of thing to talk about. Now we've just passed the AF-15 hype. I'm going to kind of go into some concerns I actually have. Now obviously if this was still AF-15 times, I would be excited as hell. Just waiting for the AF-15 drop. We'll all be talking about that and rumouring about that, but that's past and I have concerns. I love VEVE. I really love VEVE, hence why I made a whole channel talking about it, but I have concerns. This isn't me hating on VEVE, this is more just for conversational purposes, and yeah, I'm going to go through all my concerns. Hopefully you guys can interact with me in the comments and maybe change my perspective, but I have a few concerns to go through with this app, and it all relies on the future, this is all tied in with the future of VEVE, So, number one, comics being reprints. Now, I don't believe that they are, but there's been a lot of talk online lately about people believing that the comics are just reprints, like $30 reprints that Marvel will put online and anybody can buy one. People are saying it's just the same as that and these comics have no value, and what's the difference between a reprint and VEVE's digital collectibles. And to me, I'm not worried about that. I can see how it can become a problem though, because within the VEVE community, nobody is really going to believe that with their heart, but people outside the community that, like Marvel fans that might want to get involved, if you're trying to sell it to them and be like, look, they do these digital comics, they might say like, well, what's the difference between that and a reprint? These are just the same. So it might create sort of like a stigma on the reprints and comics, because to me, my take is they aren't connected at all. I think one of them is an NFT, the other is a reprint. Those two things are so different, but it's just this stigma that could get created with the outside community looking in. They might just think, well, them VEVE heads going crazy over reprint comics. Like, come on now, we're collecting the Bored Apes. This is what could be the issue, but what I say to that is, when do you see a digital reprint go for $20,000-$30,000 like we are seeing AF-15s go for? So that's just a concern that I have, not from my own personal perspective, but just on a stigma that could get created from people that aren't in the VEVE community, that are looking in and might think they're just digital reprints. Now that kind of links to my next point, which is the Metaverse. Now this is a concern I actually have, because an answer to the digital reprint sort of conversation is, well, you won't be able to use these comics in the Metaverse like we're going to be able to. That's what's difference between a reprint and our comics, is that ours are NFTs that you can use in the Metaverse. To which I say, So we're solely relying on the metaverse being a big thing, being a great big thing, for these comics to have value. To me, that's a bit, because I'm not massively into the metaverse. You know, I see people owning land in the metaverse and actually having the Oculus type thing on and going into the metaverse. I don't fully understand the metaverse yet, whether it's a video game or a virtual reality. But there could be a future without the metaverse. You know, there's people that really believe in the metaverse, and I'm not against the metaverse, but we can't solely rely on the metaverse becoming the next big thing for VEVE to work, surely, because the metaverse might not work. You know, so I've not seen anything so far that makes me think, wow, this metaverse is going to be the next big thing. Maybe when it first came out and there was these trailers and everybody was talking about it, but then it kind of just stopped being a thing. And maybe I'm a bit behind, but for me, when I talk about my collectibles in VEVE and my comics, I'm not thinking these are going to be some crazy thing in the metaverse. I'm thinking these are collectibles that I'm probably going to pass down to my grandchildren. So yeah, the whole metaverse thing, it can be overwhelming. You're thinking, well, what, do I have to own land in the metaverse? You know, I just don't understand. So yeah, sorry, I just had to change the scenery. Yeah, so the metaverse, it's almost like a scapegoat, sort of like when somebody is to say to a VEVE collector, well, what makes your VEVE collection so special? Like, why is this going to improve in value over time? A lot of people will say, well, you know, they might own the James Bond Aston Martin. They might say, well, I plan to drive this in the metaverse, and when these become part of the metaverse, you'll be able to drive it and it'll increase the value. I can get behind that. I'm just not fully convinced, you know. Like, yeah, I'm just not fully convinced on the whole metaverse VEVE thing. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it excites other people that it's so early and we don't really know too much yet. But for me, that's a concern, you know. Relying on a company run by Mark Zuckerberg for our success in VEVE, for our collectibles to moon. I mean, what about if the future isn't about meta? What if the kids and the next generation don't like meta? What if there's a different theme in life? Like, what if there's a different trend? What if in 20, 30, 40 years, when we're all expecting the kids of the metaverse to be running around with the fucking goggles on and stuff, like, what if it's not like that? What if there's a trend where it's like actually cool to go out in nature and not be on video games and computer games all the time? Like, there could be a shift like that where it makes digital things, our things, go to zero, you know? So I worry about relying on meta. I do. I really do. So another concern that I have, and by the way, guys, this is me just playing sort of devil's advocate. I'm fully behind VEVE. I love the people that are running the company, the way that they interact with the community and stuff. I think it's great, and I think it has so much potential. But these are just minor concerns that are not even maybe fully my own concerns, just that I've seen online, and I'm just sort of expressing them. So this is one that I've seen lately of VEVE having its own blockchain, and I've sort of seen it where people will say, like, a sort of an attack against VEVE, that it's on its own blockchain and it's not part of the blockchain, because it doesn't have its own safety wallet and things like. I'm not a fully crypto savvy guy. I've tried to get into it in the past, but that's you know, to me, this is what I was going to say. It could be seen as a positive. To someone like me, or other people that just want to collect bloody Marvel things and have fun, it's great that its own blockchain within the app. But to people that are investors that want to make millions, this is probably not a good thing, because it's closed off from where the real money's at. You know, Ethereum and things. It's closed off from that space. It's its own space, and people can use it as a way of saying we aren't actually on the blockchain. These aren't real NFTs. It kind of ties in with the reprint thing. Look, and even the meta thing. Like, how are you gonna plan to have these in the metaverse when VeVe isn't even part of the real blockchain? So to me, I don't mind it. I think VeVe being within itself is good for the average collector. But for people that are really money focused, having this away from the blockchain and being a part of its own blockchain is probably very worrying. I can see why people would be concerned about that. Another concern that I have, and there are clearly concerns, is basically an app. I can't remember the name, but I think most people will know what it is. It is a competitor to VeVe. Now, something that kind of made VeVe great. So 1 second. Something that made VeVe so great was it was so unique, and it had the biggest IPs and all the companies that are part of VeVe. Wow. Now we have a competitor. I can't remember the name of the app, but they're big time. I looked at their Twitter the other day, and I think they even have more followers than the VEVE official page. They have a blue tick, which the VEVE official page doesn't, which I know is a really small thing, but in terms of importance, you know, VeVe should be having a blue tick by now. So that's almost just a little thing that they have over VeVe. Like, our following's bigger, we have a blue tick, you know, which is something that people take serious. So, and now they're dropping big NFTs, collectibles. I've seen a Hello Kitty one coming on this app, and it was getting so much attention online. And I've seen people from that app clashing with VeVe, saying like, "Oh, our collectibles are better. We have more chance of going to the moon." And it's concerning, because I don't think they are in a position to overtake VeVe, but it's just worrying that there's a competitor out there. You know, I didn't ever expect there to be. I thought VeVe had, you know, they've got DC, Marvel, Disney, who can compete with that? But apparently people can, and there is a company out there that has a chance of maybe overtaking VeVe in the future. I'm not saying that they will, but there's a chance. They might, you know, and let's say if they did overtake VeVe, Marvel might shift from VeVe to them. You know what I mean? That would be bad, wouldn't it? So it'd be better if there wasn't competitors, but there is a serious competitor. Okay, my next concern is actually not too big, but it's a concern. I wrote on the paper drops having no value. Now that's obviously harsh, and that's probably not true. Every drop has value, but like for example today, I think the drop is Marvel 1,000,000 BC or something, and I just know that that comic's going to be worth $1.50, $2, and it's like, well, why am I going to pay $6.99 when it's not going to be worth anything. So it's a worry because I just, it's like, for example, this is a good example. The Silver Surfer drop, and many other drops. You could say the Boba Fett drop. You could literally say it about many drops lately go under retail drastically, but the Silver Surfer one didn't. But I got a Silver Surfer in the drop, and I sold it for quite a good profit, more than double what I paid in the drop. But my point was Silver Surfer was supposed to be this grail. Most people were predicting 500, 400. It's now sitting at like 70, 80, So where is the value in this app? We know AF-15, that is almost a bit of an exception. But it's a concern for me that the lack of value in things at the moment. When I first joined the app, almost every drop would be profitable. Simple as that. Now, not so much at all. It's quite concerning for me that most drops aren't exciting. It's a throwaway comic. And this is something I think the team of VEVE and David Yu and things will work on. They'll be trying to think of ways we can make drops exciting and valuable. Because that's what they need to be. If you're going to make this a limited access thing, it's not a good look when seconds after it's closed, the drop item is going for below the retail. Like many things right now. So it's a concern because this needs to change, really. I mean, from a flipping point of view, you could argue it's probably a good thing that these things are going under retail. But for me, these drops need to increase in value. I don't know how they're going to do that, whether they lower the mint size, or they change the rarity, I don't know, but something needs to start to change a little bit, because currently all these drops going for less than they are in the market is not good enough. Another concern. I have a lot of concerns, guys. And by the way, I will make a video about the things that the opposite to this video. There's so many good things going on with VEVE. I love the artwork that's just come in, the one-of-ones. Not that I can afford them, but just to observe that. I mean, if a Banksy piece comes to this app, I'm from the UK, guys. Banksy is a phenomenon over here. He is. Everybody knows Banksy, and everybody's fascinated with Banksy. So if Banksy somehow makes a one-of-one piece come to the app, I will be stunned. How have they pulled that off? But we'll save them for another video. I'm probably contradicting what I've just said here with this concern is we've already had the Holy Grail. Yeah, we've already had AF-15, which for me seemed like I was watching videos every day about this Holy Grail for months. When is it coming? How to prepare? What will it be worth? What to do if you get one? Should you sell? Should you all this hype around AF-15 gone. So what is the next thing that's going to be providing that hype? I've seen videos on my collectibles sort of saying the Pokemon and Banksy and Action Comic 1, Captain America 1. There are things of value out there, but ultimately, to know we have already got the Holy Grail of comics, the best comic out there, it's a little bit underwhelming. I don't know if I'm saying that because I didn't get one in the drop, and if I got one, I wouldn't be saying this. Maybe. But for me, to know that time's already passed, and it's like, what do we have to look forward to now? Really look forward to, where it's like, that's going to moon, that's going to be worth loads, that's going to be, I want to own one of them. Like, we know there's things like a Wolverine collectible, a Hulk collectible, a Chewbacca collectible, a Yoda collectible. There are still very valuable collectibles, but I'm talking like a Grail. Where the Grail's coming from? Because how many Grails have we got left? And is this an unlimited amount of things? Is this an unlimited amount of Grails? Because it isn't. I know it isn't. We are going to run out of Grails, and for me, Grails are important. You need that thing to look forward to in the app. You need that thing that's going to keep things exciting. Oh, imagine when that releases on the app. Whoa, oh my god, what is that going to do? Right now, we don't have that. I don't believe. Now AF-15's gone, it's like, now what? What's the next big thing? You know, because there needs to always be big things coming. You don't understand. Like, we can't believe we've reached the max. We've reached the height already. We haven't. We need to believe it can keep. The hype can still keep going up. And AF-15 being over has taken a lot of the hype away for me. I mean, I was spending so much time watching videos online about AF-15 and it's just gone. And it's like, now what? You know what I mean? It's like finishing a series that you were obsessed with. Like, now what, bro? Like, what's the next thing? So, yeah, I'm concerned about that because I've read online everywhere people saying AF-15 can't be topped. And it's like, that's worrying for me. That's a concern. So, linked in with that point is, well, it's linked in with every point. This is just about the market and the VEVE market. Will it recover? Now, I remember being in the app a year-ish ago, and comics, you know, ultra rares were worth hundreds, which now it's worth like $30-$40. Commons were worth $20, $30, $40. Now they're worth like $2 for most comics. And yeah, we've been at a bearish market for a long time, and I'm just asking now, will it ever recover? What is going to be that change where it goes back to more like it used to? Will it ever? I don't know. It's just a concern. And lastly, I know I'm not trying to be a Karen, guys, but these are just, like I'm saying, it's devil's advocate. These aren't things that are putting me off buying on the app. I still buy on the app. I still like VEVE. It's just, you know, it's for conversational purposes. Hopefully you guys can talk in the comments with me if anybody sees this video, and we can talk about this stuff because it's cool stuff to talk about. Marvel, etc. don't market. Now, yeah, that's concerning, right? You'd think, I mean, maybe they do market, but Marvel, I mean, you can say that they don't, and I heard somebody say, well, they literally just brought VEVE along to Comic-Con. Okay, I can dig that, but at the same time, did it really do anything? Did it really get them thousands and thousands and thousands of new customers, of new VEVE users? I don't think it did. I'm talking Marvel need to TV adverts and sharing every drop on Twitter, Instagram, advertising, getting influencers like Logan Paul or people that are sort of within this world, trying to get them to jump on board, but they aren't. Why? I saw a thing earlier where it was Marvel announcing that they're gonna collab or join with other NFT sites or whatever and help promote them, but not VEVE. VEVE wasn't on that list, which people were saying, well, that's actually a good thing because VEVE are too big to get that little bro help from Marvel. But no, VEVE, you can't say in one breath VEVE a startup, don't worry, there's not many users because we're right at the start of this project, and then they be too big for Marvel's marketing, and no, Marvel and Disney and etc. should be marketing these pieces. If they're dropping like AF-15 comic, why did Marvel not try promote that? Why was it just VEVE that? Obviously it did well, their post announcing it, but if Marvel would have made that post, it would have probably got tens of thousands of more engagements. So for some reason you don't really see Marvel, DC, Disney posting about VEVE online. You don't see influencers doing it. And I'm like, this needs marketing. Maybe that will help the market recover when you get all these thousands and thousands and thousands of people joining. But right now we're not. And that's a concern for me. So Marvel needs to market. Disney needs to market. I mean, why are they Imagine dropping a golden moment and just... I mean, some would say for collectors and stuff, it's great that they don't market because it's more chance that we can just get one. You know, it's like I saw the AMA on Superstar Money, and they asked, why did you not market that? And the guy, was it Reese? He said that he said, well, this was done intentionally because we wanted to reward the OGs of VEVE. And it's like, okay, that's cool, but is that the truth? Or are you just not good at marketing? You know, because for me, it would have been probably more rewarding had the AF-15 hype generated plenty of new users. We need new users. That's what it makes the drops more valuable, because if more people are going for the drop, it makes it harder to get, which makes it more valuable. Right now, it's quite easy to get a drop. AF-15, I admit, wasn't, but I have to be very careful which drops I choose to go for because I know I'm probably going to land it. That kind of takes away from the drop aspect. You know, it needs to be different. You need to go into a drop thinking this is going to be hard to get, and if I get one, I'm going to treasure this item. Right now, it's not like that. So they need more new users. It's obvious. I mean, the KYC probably helped in attracting members in the users in the future. But the KYC got rid of users, essentially. That's all that did. So, I mean, that didn't... I mean, I can't say it didn't help because we don't want bots, but we've only lost users from the KYC. We haven't gained any yet. So, yeah, I want to see... I mean, whether VEVE need to hire a marketing team, whether Marvel need to have a conversation about why don't we market these? We could make millions from this. And yeah, that would be interesting, but they're all very quiet, and that's a concern, right? That everyone but VEVE is quiet about the NFTs on this app. It makes it seem like such an enclosed community, which is a good thing, but ultimately for this app to go to the moon, we need millions and millions and millions and millions of users. And I envisioned it like, you know, my kids, if I ever have kids, or the future generation, it'd be a norm for them to have a VEVE app and collectibles on it. Right now, that's so far away though. You know, they need to... I'm talking TV ads. I'm talking influencers. I'm talking Instagram adverts. I'm talking YouTube adverts. I'm talking... When is that time going to come when you need to start doing them things? Because the money's probably there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think they're all my concerns. It might be a longer video. I apologise for that. Today it's my second video. I'm using my laptop, which is, again, I apologise for the poor quality. I am negotiating to get a second-hand camera because my finances are crazy right now. So I will get a camera, probably a mic, and I will get a setup for myself so we can talk real stuff then. But right now I just thought I'd start with my concerns because I don't really see many people going into the concerns like that. And maybe these concerns aren't valid, but that's for us to talk about. So let me know in the comments. Shout out to the one guy yesterday that commented VEVE farm on my post. I really posted my first video expecting to get 1 view, but it didn't do many views, but I got a comment saying VEVE fam, so shout out all the VEVE fam. Magico, if you don't know, now you know.